All right, I have a few hours to work today, so I'm going to step into this 3-year-old aspen regeneration stand. This area was logged 3 years ago, and I got my hand tools with me. This is already great deer habitat, but I'm going to make this area even better and make it better for holding deer. So follow along and I'll show you what I'm up to. Alright, so there's one of the two stands we're setting all this up for. You can see the aspen slash right here. Aspen regeneration growing back. Got the food plot sitting right out here. Here is the main entrance into the bedding. That was the main tool I used today. We got the steel FS 131. Got the brush blade on it. And it really works great for projects like this. So here's that main trail coming out to the stand. Stands right over there about 40 yards. Now this is a nice hilltop, so this would set up for bedding. I haven't had to worry about bumping deer this close to the stand when the leaves are on. It's so thick. I can slip in pretty quiet when the leaves drop. They tend to bed a little bit further back in the timber, and they do bed some up over there. So this was an area I did not enhance because I don't necessarily want the deer bedding quite this close to the stand. So I just kind of left it as is, natural. There might be a little bit of bedding off that direction, but I did not get in here and enhance this. The only thing I did through here was this past summer I cut this trail in to make sure the deer movement went right by that stand. All right, now here's where we're getting into where I want the bedding. So I saw quite a few rubs today as I was working. So I got trail cutting up that way, trail cutting this direction. So as you get up onto this would be the second ridge back. This is where I started finding the natural beds. So this is where I really wanted to enhance it. That's why I started knocking out some trails. There's a spot anywhere I had a standing tree where it was pretty brushy around it. I cleared out a bedding knoll. So there's a bed right there. Now again, when we create deer beds, we want lots of escapes. Nice run out that way. Nice hole cut right through here. Here was a big natural bed that I just made sure I cleaned out right there. I mean, this is the primo bed in this area. Just look at this hilltop right here. If you're a deer sitting right here, you can sit and observe a lot. I actually saw a buck. I think it was the first or second year. No, the first year this was regenerating. So the aspen was probably 5-6 feet tall that fall. And I watched a buck get out of his bed. Actually, I shouldn't say it was just any buck. It was the buck I ended up killing last year. My one and only Boone and Crockett buck. So it was when he was a 4-year-old. He was bedded right here in the aspen slash. I watched him get up. He cut out this direction. He never saw me from the stand. The stand's probably 100 yards away now at this point. And he slowly worked his way down the ridge that direction. He did not kick out to the food like I was hoping he would. So there's that big, beautiful natural bed. We got an escape cutting out the back, coming out front. When they get this direction, they can go there. They can cut up through there. I even got a little trail cutting up in there. Here's another big natural bed right there. Actually, this one I cleaned out today. It was not a bed, but I made it a bed. Found this one standing tree, cleaned up underneath it. Got an escape cutting out the back. Deer can scoot out that way, scoot that direction. Again, another nice room with a view. So I cut this initial trail in the summer. You can see there's plenty of deer scat along it, so they are certainly using it. But I did not take the time to cut in beds. Now, like I said, with logging, with aspen regeneration, if you're doing a clear cut and you're getting a thick regrowth, there is going to be spots for the deer to bed. They'll find their spots. Like in the summer, this looks like an absolute jungle, but if you walk it right now, you can find little open pockets. So if you don't have the time to do stuff like this, don't worry about it. Just get sunlight to the ground, get this regeneration coming. You will still get some benefit. But for guys like me that just really geek out on this stuff, they're always looking for ways to make it better, this is something you can do to enhance it. Clear out these trails, clear these beds, and set up potential bedding pockets. So here was a spot that was not bedding before. Cleared out a nice spot for a bed right here. You can kick out that direction. There's a little trail that cuts back over here. Can connect with the main trail over there. I mean, this is deer bedding. So I like to create little cruising trails like this, kind of off to the edge of the bedding, so bucks can run them and scent check the bedding during the rut. Like, these are the trails I think they'll be on, they'll be chasing on. But I want to have more than one of these. I kind of have a main trail going through the middle, and then I got these little runs off to the side that the deer can work. I mean, you can see again, there's rub there, there's a rub there. This was an old trail that I cut in a few years ago, but it got pretty thick, so I opened it back up today. But I wanted this spot so I could give a spot for the bucks to run. And when I'm cutting this stuff, if it's little, I'm just letting it fall. If it's pretty big where it could obstruct the trail, I'll move it to the side. But this aspen, any of these young trees, when they're softwoods like this, they break down so fast. You don't got to worry about cleaning it up and making it perfect. By next summer, next fall, this stuff will have rotted and all the little twigs on these whips will have broken down. It'll just be straight sticks and the deer can walk right over that. So, and also when I make these trails like this, I want lots of jump off spots. So there's a jump off spot there, there's one up there, you'll see another one further up. Lots and lots of jump off spots. All right, here's another big spot that I honed in on. When I'm picking the bedding spots, I'm thinking topography first. One, the deer need a flat spot to bed. They aren't going to bed in spots with much slope at all. The flattest spots in this area is where I found the natural deer beds. This spot is a nice flat spot. Got a big tree. They seem to hone in on these lone trees for deer bedding. There's a big tree right there. Sit down in the bed, can look out that direction, look this way. This is the highest point right up on top of the ridge. So this sets up really well for bedding. But they do also bed off to the side on the benches that are down the ridge a little bit. Now this isn't a huge ridge. I'm in northwest central Minnesota. We don't have a ton of topography here, but there are little benches down the sides of these ridges in here, and I did find some deer beds, so those are spots I honed in on too. But this high point right here will definitely set up well for bedding. We got the escapes in there that we need. All right, there's the other side of this ridge where I made a trail I cut that way. Again, that's that trail for the bucks to run. I mean, does will run it too, but during the rut, bucks will definitely be cruising. Here's a spot I really honed in on. This is nature's hinge cut here. A basswood that tipped over years ago. And it created this nice little open pocket with all this thick around it. Now these are awesome spots. I remember on a different property, there was a spot like this that set up right in the middle of some aspen slash. It was created actually by a handful of conifers. And there was a very large old mature buck that was bedding in that spot. And actually somebody I know got a crack at that buck coming out of that area. I mean, but that was his home. He set up in a spot like this because talk about an amazing room with a view. I mean, look at this. He's got food all around him with the aspen regen. He's got thick cover all around him, but he's also got a million escape routes. Boom, boom, boom. That one I just cut in. I actually cut one in over there. Boom. And it wouldn't take too much to get over this log too if you really needed to. But this is a pretty dynamite spot, so I wanted to make sure that I made this as nice as possible by adding in a few more escapes. So if a buck did decide to bed up here, he would feel very safe and secure. And with Nature's Hinge Cut, we also got a nice canopy. I mean, look at this tree. I don't know how many years ago it tipped over, but it's an old one, but it's been going strong. All right, back on the main run here. Don't like seeing that. That's buckthorn. I knew some would pop up after the logging. I tried to make sure it was nice and clean, but there's always a little bit of it around here, so we'll take care of that next summer. This is the main drag going through the middle of the ridge. There were tracks on it. Now my boot prints are in here too. But again, here's another spot. So I hinged this big old elm a while ago. Now we got a nice bedding knoll right there. This was kind of brushed in, so I cleaned it up so deer could bed right up in there. Got an escape cutting out that direction. Got a trail cutting down there. Should cut down there quick. There were some cool beds, kind of those bench beds that I was talking about down this direction. Alright, there was one of the beds. Might be kind of tough to see, but just a little bench that formed on this ridge right here. So you can see why deer would want to bed here. It's nice and flat. It still feels pretty secure. Lots of rubs down in here. There's an older one. I did clear this right here. Nice flat spot so the deer could bed there. But yeah, there was definitely bucks in here. I mean, if you step up in here, it's maybe tough to see with the sunlight, but there's another rub there. You get back in here, you can see some old rubs right there. More rubs, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, bucks love tearing up this aspen regeneration. Any of these young softwood trees, they're gonna be all over. So here's kind of one of the main drags. The other one kind of cuts out this direction. Nice escape cutting out over there. There's some potential for some cutting right there. I noticed that. There's kind of a flat spot with just a handful of junk trees. So I might cut in a little bedding knoll right there. Got lots of good bedding in here though. So I don't necessarily need to do that right now, but if I have time, I might get around to it. Oh, here was a really nice spot that I cleared. You can see there was a natural bed here. Whoops, left. Don't want to leave any sticks in the beds. Like leaving them nice and open. Nice big impression right there. Beautiful spot. Can look out this big field. This sets up really well as bedding when this big old field is corn. They love being here, but I can see the bed there or the bed right here. So this is a great time of year to do this. I mean, normally we have 2 to 3 feet of snow by now. It's late December, but given we haven't got the snow yet and it's been nice, I figured I'd get in here today and do this. And now it's set up where next summer all I have to do is come in with a backpack sprayer. I'll spray down these trails, kill some of that buckthorn that I noticed as I was cutting today, and I'll be good to go. I mean, in my tank I'll probably just put some triclopyr so I can kill all the woody stuff, and maybe throw in a little bit of clethodim or Roundup or glyphosate just so I can kill back some of the grasses too. So here's one of those open spots that I like to have in bedding areas, and you can see there's a bed here. There's lots of tracks in here. These big open bedrooms like this, the deer really like. So it's nice when you can mix in a few like this. This one just opened up because of the logging. This might have been one of their drag areas right here. But the deer were definitely using this kind of high point as bedding. And if you lay down at their level, you can still see that it feels secure. There's some spots off to the side of this aspen regeneration that open up a little bit more that I found a lot of beds. They don't always want to be right in the regeneration. Sometimes it's kind of like switchgrass. They kind of want to bed up on the edge of it. So if you have lots of edge along the regeneration, you can get a lot of bedding in there too. But I do see a lot of bedding in the aspen too, especially when the hunting pressure ramps up, and you know, kind of during the peak of the rut when the bucks are pushing the does into this heavy cover. So this aspen, it's really thick right there, but then it transitions into open woods. We want some open woods too, along with the good cover, because now we know the deer are going to be bedding there. They're not necessarily going to be bedding here. They might be cruising through this area, but there's a lot of slope here, so it doesn't set up well for bedding. I mean, if anything, I can TSI the hillside and just favor my good trees, cut some of the junk just to feed the deer here in the winter and get a little light regeneration, but they're not going to bed on this hillside. So as of right now, there's nothing that I need to do in there, but I'm sure eventually I'll do some cutting, because I like to feed the deer with my chainsaw. Woody browse is that most crucial food component up here in the winter. But yeah, that was the project for today. Pretty fun to make it better. 2 hours with the steel brush saw, and I was able to get this whole area cleaned up. And I'll just have to come in next summer, like I said, backpack sprayer, and spend a couple more hours in here, and it'll be good to go for the fall. All right, you all take care. God bless.